how to choose a fun fact or interesting fact about you for your upcoming pageant. Hey there, welcome back to the Win a Pageant podcast. I'm your host, Alycia Darby. In this episode, I want to talk us through the fun fact or interesting fact about you that so often you are going to be asked in either an interview setting or in your pageant paperwork. And this can be overwhelming. It doesn't seem like it would be because it seems so simple, right? But it really is because, oftentimes you're like, oh, well, you want to use like some interesting weird thing like, oh, I can touch my nose with my tongue. And they're like, or you're like, oh, I have a double jointed elbow, and you're like clicking your elbows around, or you're like, I was born with a unicorn horn, or like, these things are crazy. Okay, now listen, the thing that you want to use as your measurement for, is this a good fun fact or not, is if this is the only thing that these people remember about me, will it be fun and enjoyable and they'll think fondly of me? Or will it be a little bit embarrassing? Okay, so if the only thing that your judges remember about you is that you can touch your nose with your tongue or that you have like crazy elbows or whatever, it's gonna get weird, okay? So I'm just telling you right now, instead, what we wanna do is one of two things, okay? So first of all, we don't wanna make it weird, okay? That's first of all. We wanna make it fun, we wanna make it interesting, but we do not wanna make it weird. So now, let's say we've got fun and interesting. There's two ways we could take this answer. The first way is that you could just answer it quickly, have a good time, big smile, and move on with the interview, okay? That is kind of the method for if you receive some kind of like fluffy question. You know how you might get a fluffy question, that you're like, oh, why are they asking me this? This doesn't have anything to do with what I really want to talk about, right? So you could just answer the question quickly, make it fun, and move on. And I'm going to give you some ways to do that. Or you could answer the question in a way that loops them back to the things that you do want to talk about. Okay, that's a skill that I teach in the Win a Pageant Academy and in the game plan. That's what I teach my clients to do, that there are no fluffy questions. But sometimes, whether you're asked on your paperwork where you can't really loop back very easily, or you don't want to, or you know what, you're just like, I want to actually share this fun thing about me. It is kind of fun, it is kind of interesting, and I would love to just share that. Okay, so if that's true, here's 4 ways that you can actually discover something interesting about you that's not super weird, okay? All right, the first one is this. It's a unique accomplishment. So a unique accomplishment is something that very few people do, okay? So this is not, I can do 10 push-ups, okay? Because lots of people can do 10 push-ups. That's not really that interesting. That's not really that unique. Instead, you want to think about something that would pique people's interest. So this is stuff that like, oh, really? You're one of those people? How cool. Okay. So maybe you won the spelling bee when you were in the 3rd grade, or maybe you have been in Toastmasters for 27 years, or maybe you have fostered kittens every summer for the last 12 years. Okay, things like that, that's a unique accomplishment that might not have anything to do with how you could hold the title, but it would be really an interesting kind of fun fact. And if that's the only thing that they remembered about you, that'd be kind of cool. Okay, so unique accomplishments. All right, the second one, done it once adventures. Now, done it once adventures is exactly what it is. You've done this thing once, okay? That's exactly what it is. All right, so this could be if you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, or you walked on a glacier in New Zealand, or you got engaged while skydiving, okay? Those are the kind of things that they've happened once and it was awesome. And if you're remembered by that, that's pretty cool, right? It's not super weird. It makes you look really kind of cool, okay? That's what we're going for. All right, here's the third. This is fun habits. So fun habits that you just like to do a lot, This could also be thought of as things that you love or things that you hate. So for example, this could be every holiday season, I watch the movie The Holiday, and it puts me in the holiday spirit. It could also be that I always buy white cars because I cannot stand having a dirty car. And so I love owning cars that are white because you can tell immediately when it's dirty. Okay, so you see how those are interesting, fun facts, but they're not weird. Okay. Fourth one, this would be something like what I would consider a worthless talent. Okay, so a worthless talent is just a fun way of saying this is a thing you probably wouldn't compete with. Okay, so this would be like you can recite the entire Declaration of Independence, or you can say the ABCs from Z to A, things like that that are just like, okay, that's interesting and kind of a fun talent. But it's or I love going clogging, or I know how to swing dance even though I don't do it often. I know how. Things like this, okay? That you know how to do a snare drum, or that you can play Mozart's symphony without looking at the sheet music. Okay, things like that are talents that you wouldn't necessarily be in a competition against or bring to stage like dance or singing, but it's still a really cool talent, okay? Those are 4 ways that you can find a fun fact. And remember, once you discover what your fun fact might be, the test you want to put it through is, if this is the only thing the judges remember about me, am I going to be kind of embarrassed that this is the only thing I remember? Or is that kind of cool? And that, my dear, is how you win a pageant. I'll see you next time.